What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the online Jamily? JamiroFan 2000 here, but yet another episode of JamiroFan Talks About. For the initiated of this series here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel in nearly 9 years, this has been my periodic discussion series looking at the past, present, future of Jamiroquai and now over 30 years of musical making. This episode is going to be talking about my current 12th to 13th project series about Jamiroquai that I've been doing on and off for the last nearly 2 years. Of course, I'm talking about Jamiditorials. I'm here to talk about the 3 next Jamiditorial topics that I'll be doing for the months of October through December of 2025, and of course my recent release of my 16th Jamiditorial release. But let's go down these 3 new topics that I plan to release, with periodic mini Jamiditorial topics to be released in between each major Jamiditorial release. The first is simply called Planetary Divisions, the conceptual and promotional mess of 2010's Rock Dust Lightstar Jamiroquai album. That album was plagued with lots of many things, but I decided to do nearly a 9-page deep dive into some of the reasonings why that album was very troubled and very divisive to the online Jamily. The second topic I'll be grasping is Album Engineering Maestro, Jamiroquai's director of music, Rick Pope. Now, Rick Pope has a long history with Jamiroquai, and he's been the director of music for the last few years, but he's always been there at their live gigs and been the central engineering figure around some of Jamiroquai's most amazing albums of their over 8-album discography. And finally, rounding off the 3 lists, it's going to be a little bit of a whimsical release for a Jamiditorial. From Anchorman to the Witty Games, my Jamiroquai comical japes of 2005 through 2006. Now, when I was on Jamiroquai Jamirotalk, I should say, the international fan forums, which was founded by several German Jamiroquai fans back in the early 2000s, I was very much a very heavy contributor, as much as I have been here on at least in the new construct of YouTube and many other social media platforms. But I did do some Jamiroquai related japes now and again, and text japes, I should say. So I thought I'd share them in my final Jamiditorial release of these 3 new ones. And like I said aforementionedly, there will be many Jamiditorial releases in between these 3 aforementioned main Jamiditorial releases for the months of October, November, and December of 2025. So let's get into the second half of this JamiroFan Talks About, discussing my 16th Jamiditorial major release. And that 16th Jamiditorial release, which just got released here in the last week of October 2025, is simply titled Planetary Divisions, the conceptual and promotional mess of 2010's Rock Dust Lightstar. Now, we know that Rock Dust Lightstar is a little bit of the black sheep of the Jamiroquai album discography, but I thought I'd do a deep dive into many of the reasonings why that album was so plagued. Not to mention it was the first album released through Jamiroquai's Universal Music deal. It had very spotty promotions, not to mention the unevenness of the album and the conceptual direction of a live album for Jamiroquai kind of got lost in the script. But I hope members of the Jamily will enjoy this 9-page Jamiditorial deep dive that I decided to do, looking at 2010's Rock Dust Lightstar. And I was very, very fair in this assessment. But if you do agree or not agree, this new Jamiditorial release has been released on my Instagram and, of course, on my social media. So if you'd like to check out the 16th Jamiditorial release called Planetary Divisions, the conceptual and promotional message of Jamiroquai's 2010 album Rock Dust Lightstar, I'll be sure to put a link to my Instagram and the Imgur album wherever you decide to consume this Jamiditorial down in the description area of this episode of JamiroFan Talks About down below. So be sure to check that out in your own time. And of course, more releases of the series will be coming out in the months of November and December, and I'll be sure to announce them soon so you can check them out in your own time when I've got them written and released to the Jamily in time due. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. Thank you again for watching this episode of JamiroFan Talks About. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe and ding the bell on your YouTube to stay up to date on all the latest new content coming from the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel as we enter into a very busy tour schedule, the first tour salvo for Jamiroquai here in the latter part of October and November of 2025, with the beginning of the Heels of Steel tour, which will start off in Barcelona, Spain on November 6th. And of course, I will be doing day after coverage of each tour date of all 15 tour dates of that tour coming here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel in the coming weeks. So be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode of my coverage of all the great videos and pictures to be coming from the online Jamily at every respective tour date of the Heels of Steel tour of 2025 between November to December of 2025. But as always, this is JamiroFan 2000. I'll see you again really soon with more Jamiroquai related content here on the JamiroFan 2000 YouTube channel. Bye bye everybody, take care, and I'll see you around in exciting times.